our most read story on the Bloomberg at this hour has to do with the Trump administration telling Harvard University it cannot enroll international students. So no doubt about it, delivering a major blow to the school after the government, you might recall, also had frozen billions of dollars of federal funding and really escalating a fight that we are seeing between the United States and Harvard and other elite colleges, but really kind of taking this to a whole other level, Tim.
We got Kasia, Klimasinska, team leader for DC Breaking News, joining us from our Washington, D.C. bureau. Carol read the headlines, Kasia, but I'm wondering about sort of, we're seeing the reaction, we're seeing the interest. Everybody's talking about this story right now. Is this the type of thing that is going to get legal pushback? Are lawyers already working on this to try to prevent this from happening? Or can the administration actually make Harvard do this?
Yeah, great questions. Thank you for having me. Indeed, this is currently the most read story on the terminal, and really a surprising new development, a major escalation where the Trump administration is basically telling Harvard they cannot enroll international students. Not only that, but also the currently enrolled foreign students have to transfer or they will lose their legal status. Harvard has already responded saying that they will fight it, that they obviously don't agree with this decision. So there will be definitely more to come.
You know, what's interesting, Kasia, like we've been seeing all of this play out, and I feel like universities have been trying to figure out what's the right balance in terms of dealing with the administration over it. I feel like money trumps everything, and financially we are continuing to see impacts on universities because of what the administration is doing, pulling federal funding. But I look at Harvard, I mean, we keep reading the statistic, almost 6,800 students at Harvard, 27% of the entire student body come from other countries. That's up from just under 20% back in 2006. This is looking at the university's data. I mean, this becomes a bigger and bigger financial blow to the university. And you do wonder at this point, do universities in general, Harvard included, are going to fight back even harder, because this is about money it comes down to, also in terms of principals.
Yeah, exactly. So this is more than a quarter of all their students. I think it's also interesting that this is the Department of Homeland Security getting involved. The statement earlier this hour came from the DHS, which was citing, the protests, the fact that they blame the Harvard leadership for not being able to keep its campus basically safe and putting some students at risk.
Yeah, I'm thinking about all the Harvard alumni in Congress right now. Harvard Law actually has an article on their website post-election touting the fact that all Harvard Law alumni running for re-election to Congress won their races, while 5 more alumni vied to join their ranks. They talked about incumbents in the U.S. House of Representatives. They also talked about Republican Ted Cruz, Tim Kaine, who were re-elected to the Senate, in addition to other alumni from Harvard Law School. Have we heard anything yet at this point from either Democrats or Republicans who were alums of Harvard University? Elise Stefanik, for example, who's been very critical of the school, Republican member from New York of the House. Have we heard anything from them since this came out?
It came out less than an hour ago, so I haven't seen anything here yet on the breaking news desk. You might. It's not only people in Congress; it's also major donors, on both sides. So I'm sure this story will continue to escalate.
Talk a little bit more about this coming from the Department of Homeland Security. It's just interesting. It's kind of playing into kind of the safety element, right? We've seen this kind of being used, I feel like, in terms of security reasons. We've seen this with immigration in general. That thinking and philosophy that continues to come from the administration, again, that I guess will also be discussed in any kind of legal arguments.
Yes, this timing is really interesting and really strange, given what happened here in D.C. overnight as well. And the statement actually specifically cites Jewish students. It's also kind of weird that the statement landed just after Caroline Leavitt finished her briefing, so that kind of didn't allow us to ask her more questions, even though obviously you must have been aware of it happening, because apparently there were some papers going back and forth between the Trump administration and the school for several days or even weeks now. So, yes, this is definitely an interesting timing for this announcement.
I'm also thinking, and I know you're covering breaking news, but I'm also thinking about just the educational impact of a move such as this, given the numbers that Carol mentioned, thousands of students there, close to 30% of the entire student body. This is the type of thing that could potentially wreak havoc on a university's finances, but also in such a short period of time where ostensibly acceptance letters have already been mailed out. We understand the yield of the class coming in. The timing of this is pretty wild.
Yes, it's really strange and difficult. It's not only about the new students, but also existing students who will have to transfer or, lose their legal status. So that means losing their visa, possibly being forced to go back home. Yes, and it's not only about the finances, right, but also about the diversity of the campus. I mean, we know that the school has been previously attacked for their diversity efforts. So this also addresses that issue of the diversity of the student body.
Kasia, one last question. It's interesting that it feels like Harvard is being attacked big time. We've seen it also with Columbia and some other schools, but it does feel like, makes me wonder, who didn't get into Harvard and the administration that's so angry? But I know it's a bigger, broader story. Having said that, should we assume that other schools will be targeted in a similar way as Harvard is being?
So I think this is what is very surprising about this news, right? That it singles out this one school and goes after its leadership. So I think we have to see. We have yet to find out whether the DHS will go after other schools as well.